The verdict is in after a jury deliberated the fate of Brad Lunsford, the former Las Cruces police officer who shot and killed Presley Eze during an incident in 2022. Thank you for choosing KTSM 9 News Now. I'm Andy Morgan. Now, the jury deliberating for nearly 3 hours before finding Lunsford guilty of voluntary manslaughter. KTSM 9 News reporter Diana Castillo has been covering this trial for us since opening arguments were made, of course, last week. And Diana, you were in the courtroom as that guilty verdict was read aloud. What was the reaction?
Well, Andy, the reaction was very emotional, and we will get to that in just a second. But with this trial lasting nearly 2 weeks, jurors reached a verdict in a little over 2 hours. Brad Lunsford found guilty of voluntary manslaughter with a firearm enhancement.
We find the defendant, Brad Justin Lunsford, guilty of voluntary manslaughter as charged.
Silent, with hardly any reaction, Brad Lunsford left the courtroom in handcuffs, nearly 3 years after his deadly encounter with Presley Eze in 2022, after he reportedly stole a beer from a gas station, failing to identify himself to Lunsford, getting in a physical altercation with another officer before putting his hands on that officer's taser but not using it. On Wednesday, during closing arguments, the state once again pointed out that Lunsford should have used other means of force to de-escalate the situation.
We're talking about the loss of a human life. A man breathing 2 seconds earlier. A man who had stolen a beer.
While the defense maintained that Lunsford's actions were in line with the LCPD use of force policy.
That there's an imminent threat of death or great bodily harm to you or another, then you have the right to use deadly force to stop that threat. And that's what Mr. Lunsford did.
After the verdict, Lunsford was taken into custody as his loved ones looked on, raw with emotion. Now a sentencing date needs to be set, with Lunsford facing up to 9 years in prison. Now we will, of course, look out for that sentencing date and bring you the latest on air and online. But for now, reporting in Las Cruces, I'm Diana Castillo, KTSM 9 News.